So, this is some of the stuff that's in my Wattpad library. A bunch of RWBY fanfictions. Now, an idea that I had was that I would take one of these stories that I had never actually read yet and then read it and, show you my first reactions. So, let's see how that goes. And let's go with one that's been catching my eye for a while. As we have to find it. There it is. White Rose contract with the... I wasn't there. Contract with the something. Okay, really? Contract with the demon. Now, I cannot guarantee the quality or the level of finished, the level of finishedness, I don't know. How I cannot guarantee that it is finished either. So we're just going to, read some, see how well it goes. Chapter 1. Weiss. Have you ever felt worthless, corrupt, or like you don't even know why you exist? I do. Every single day I have to suffer the abuse of my father, classmates, and even my boyfriend. It all started when my mother had left my father, me and my sister, for another man. My father was upset and locked himself in his room for 3 weeks straight. My father used to be a caring man and loved us very much. That all changed when he finally stepped out of his room. He was a different person. He started drinking and left me and my sister all alone for days when he left for parties. Or as he left for parties. When he returned back home, he would hit us for doing the tiniest mistakes or call us good for nothing and saying we were the reason why our mom left. We tried being strong, but my sister Winter couldn't take it anymore. One night, she had woken up from her slumber and grabbed a knife from the kitchen. What, is she gonna kill him? That would be interesting. She had stabbed herself in the chest, making her lose a lot of blood, which made her die instantly. Okay. Father didn't even made a funeral for her. Oh no. Sorry. After Winter's death, he had just hurt me more and sometimes wouldn't give me anything to eat. I once tried to end myself once and for all, but Father had stopped me before I could. As a lesson, Father had gotten the knife out of my hands and made a huge scar across my eye. When my classmates had asked of my scar, Father would always interfere and say that I tried to kill myself, not telling the whole truth. After them knowing, I had been bullied and called many names like suicidal girl. Or I will have crumble up papers with me trying to kill myself in many different ways thrown at me. Once my boyfriend knew about it, he started abusing me and controlling me as I was his puppet. Right now I'm hiding in my closet from my father. He has come home after a full day at the bar. Wow, that is a depressing backstory. Weiss, he called out. That was terrible voice. I will not try to do voices for this, seriously. I have been ignoring him because last time he threw me an empty bottle of alcohol in the head, making me bleed when he came back from a bar. I tried to make a Mortal Kombat joke, but this is not the time for that. I started to get more terrified as I hear him come up the stairs. Weiss, get out here now, or I'll come up there and get you. He says as I hear him approach closer to my room. Weiss, he yells as he breaks my door down. I hear him enter every room and hear his heavy breathing. After a couple minutes, I hear him leave and let my breath out that I didn't knew I was holding. When I then hear the closet door swing open and feel a pair of hands grab the collar of my shirt. When I call for you, you always reply back. He yells at me and puts me over his shoulder. I'll teach you a lesson for not answering when I call you, he says as he heads down the stairs. I then see him approach the basement door, and I start to struggle. I'm sorry, Father, please don't. I tried to apologize, still trying to get out of his grip. You'll be staying here for 3 full weeks with no food or water. Okay, well, I mean, she's gonna die, but, whatever. I mean, he seems to not care. That was pretty obvious, but he seems to not care at all. I don't even think he really knows, but whatever. He says as he throws me inside. He then locks the door from the outside, leaving me inside with a barely working light bulb. I then crawl to the darkest corner and curl myself up. No, not this again. I hate my life. Why does the world have to be so cruel? I don't want to be here. I want to be free. I don't want to be here, I whispered. I want to be free, I continued. I hate tight spaces. Somebody please help me. As I start to shake. Anyone at all. I don't care who. Please just come. Save me, please. I yell with all my might in my weakened state. Then I see a rose petal fall slowly to the ground, and more rose petals fall after it. They all start to form into the figure of a person. Yep. It's RWBY. Now, of course... jeez, okay. The name's Ruby Rose. I am a demon from the underworld. You had summoned me here today. I can never be changed, and every sacrifice can never be regained. Starts to speak. So RWBY is a demon, and Winter is dead, and Weiss is essentially being tortured. Great story so far. But I will tell you that I actually did read some of this, and I kind of forgot about it. So I essentially know what happens, which is kind of a disappointing thing. But it's fine, because it's still ridiculous. And I haven't read more than, this first chapter. Okay. Now choose. I'll help you get rid of this pain and make everyone who made you suffer pay in return. Or pay. And in return, I get to keep and eat your soul. Do we have a deal? She says. I will be free from this pain and abuse without a second thought. I had decided my answer. Then I choose. I say as I suddenly see a picture of a rose appear on the top of my hand. Very well, my lady. Third person, POV. The drunken man was hungry, and there was no one to serve him as his servants had a day off. He headed down to the basement door. As he was about to unlock it, the door had suddenly been broken down, making him fall to the floor. When he looked up to see who it was, he saw his daughter come out of the room. But the thing that stood out from her was the imprint of a rose on her hand. What do you think you're doing? He says angrily as he stands up. For now on, you will not hurt me anymore, and you are going to pay for what you have done to me. His daughter says as she glares at him. RWBY, kill him. That's an order. Jesus. He says as he points at her father. Her father just thought that she was losing her mind, like he did until the rose of the girl's hand started to disappear slowly, while rose petals started falling from thin air. Yes, my lady. That's not a good voice. Yes, my lady. I'm not even gonna try. Like I said, he hears someone say as he suddenly was being consumed by darkness. What's happening? He yells, terrified. The last thing he sees before closing his eyes was his daughter standing next to a red-caped girl. Wow. All right, chapter 2. Weiss. Wake up, my lady. It's time to get up for school. RWBY says as she puts my morning coffee next to me and opens bedroom curtains. You wouldn't want to miss your first day of school, would you? RWBY says as she begins to look for my clothes. I take a sip of my coffee and stare at her as she begins to put my clothes next to me. Now, my lady, get ready before breakfast is ready. Ruby says she exits the room for me to change. I put my coffee down and stand up from the bed. I grab the clothes Ruby picked for me and took them with me as I made my way to the shower. When I was done showering myself, I changed into a white dress with a belt going around the waist and put my white jacket over it. I fixed my hair and pulled into my normal side ponytail. Once satisfied with my look, I headed downstairs for breakfast. "What's for breakfast?" I asked as I took a seat in my favorite chair. "This morning we will have vanilla cream French toast, cranberry bliss bars, and eggs Benedict." Ruby says she starts to put the food on the table. "I also prepared another coffee for you, cream with 3 sugars, just the way you like it," she adds while putting the coffee mug on the table. "I hope you got your cooking right this time, since last time you made it look like food, but the taste was terrible," I said as I took a bite of one of the meals. "Tastes fair enough. Now I need you to get my school supplies ready," I command as I watch her bow and walk upstairs. Once she left, I started enjoying my meal since it tasted amazing. When I finished eating my breakfast, I got my supplies and walked to the school since it was, just down 2 blocks away from where I live. Ruby's sign appeared on my hand as I headed to school. When I entered the campus, I heard a lot of whispers going on around or about me. Oh boy, this is when it's going to get interesting. Like I said, I haven't actually read this part. And I was like, oh, yes. Jeez, look who it is, suicidal girl. Carden, one of the jocks at her school, yelled as everyone started to laugh, but I kept my posture. "I don't have time to deal with you, Carden, now if you excuse me," I said as I tried to walk past him, only for him to block the way. "Look, everyone, she thinks she's a big girl now and can defend herself," he yells again as more people started laughing. "Only because it's a new year doesn't mean things have changed," he says. He pushes me on the floor as people laughed and walked around as the bell rang. "See you around," he says as he heads to his next class. "You know you could have killed him using me, right?" Ruby says in my brain. "Yes, but I want to make my victims suffer like I did, and I must be strategic," I replied to her as I stood up and dusted myself before going to class. "Miss Schnee, hurry and take a seat as class is about to start," my first period teacher said. I took a seat at the far end of the classroom on an empty seat. "Okay, class, welcome to math class. Today we are," skip to lunch. "Sitting by yourself, my lady," Ruby states. "You know why," I replied. I didn't even know what I was doing here since I don't usually eat in the cafeteria. I throw my tray away as I made my way to the library. On my wrist, I felt a hand grab my wrist and pulled me inside a janitor's closet. "Missed me?" Neptune said as he forcefully pulled me to his chest and gripped my wrist harder. As I tried to get out of his grip. Now, that's no way to treat your boyfriend," he says as he pins my arms above my head. "Not this time or never." I kicked him where the sun don't shine and left running out of there. Once I reached the library, I went to my secret hiding spot and took a rest from the running. Seconds later, Ruby appeared next to me and started to giggle, trying not to laugh. "What's so funny?" I exclaimed. She tried to regain her composure but failed. "Sorry, my lady, it's just the way you handle things back there. I thought I will have to save you, but at last you kicked him on his balls." Ruby then started laughing on the ground, holding her stomach. "Shush, unless you want to attract attention," I reminded her. "Yes, sorry, my lady," she says, bowing after she calmed down. "And stop calling me that. I know I'm your master now, but calling me lady and talking all formal makes me seem old," I said as I crossed my arms. Ruby just giggled and said, "Sure thing, Weiss." "That's more like it," I say to her as I hear the lunch bell ringing and signaling that lunch was over. "Let's go before you arrive late," Ruby says as she enters back into my hand. I then made my way to class. Skip to end of school. How is that teacher not doing anything to prevent such malignance? I say while I pace around my room. He clearly saw that kid throw me crumble up paper at me. Jeez. I say angrily. Like, seriously, isn't a teacher's job to prevent such things? I say as I stop walking and face RWBY, who is standing in the doorway. Isn't it? I ask. RWBY giggles before replying. If you ask me, I don't think he is fit enough to be a teacher. But what do you expect from you humans? Wow. I just sigh and walk to my bed and sit on it. Yeah, you're right, I say as I look down. RWBY, could you bring my coffee to me? Yes, of course, Weiss. She says she leaves the room. Now, time for revenge. Third POV. I assume you mean third person. So, what are you planning today? The red-tipped hair brunette asks her companion as she walks, more like jumps up and down from their house to school. You know, the usual, the girl in white replies. The usual, huh? Then explain the sinister aura coming from you. Oh boy. The demon says as she smiles and catches the girl red-handed. The girl stops on her tracks before answering. You'll see, just wait after school. The high schooler says she starts walking again, but begins to notice how the demon was walking. But Weiss, I can't wait that long, the Crimson Girl states. Ugh. I sometimes feel like you act like a child. Stop walking like that, it's getting annoying. The girl known as Weiss states the other girl. Anyways, RWBY, if you really can't wait that long, then... Weiss says the other girl known as RWBY, who is walking properly. Yes? RWBY says, waiting eagerly to hear what Weiss has to say. So I am sort of trying to do voices because I don't think I can, or I don't think I can avoid it. And I'm trying to make RWBY sound as creepy as possible here, just because I think that's how she would actually be sounding in this situation. Then I'll tell you at lunch, Weiss exclaims. What? No, Weiss, please tell me. Weiss smiles as she got the reaction she was hoping for from her. Fine, Weiss says. Both stop. Weiss looked at her. I might had found a way for me to not get caught of any crime. Weiss states to get rid of some people, RWBY asks. Well, not yet. I still have to go somewhere after school before I get to do that. Weiss says, seeing her school appear in a couple of yards. And that will be... RWBY presses. Later, RWBY. I see the school up ahead. She says to her. RWBY sighs in disappointed before disappearing and replacing a rose on the heiress' hand. Although technically she isn't an heiress anymore because she doesn't have any parents to be an heiress of anything of whatever. Okay, once she set foot on campus, all the boys outside surrounded her. My, I thought that you wouldn't showed up, Cardin says. This again, Weiss says. She rolls her eyes. Now, hey, calm down, he says. What do you want, Cardin? Weiss says, not actually caring what he has to say. Nothing that I want, just sending a message from Neptune. And honestly, when I started reading this, I didn't think that her boyfriend was Neptune, but I mean, it does make at least a tiny bit of sense. I mean, you know. Okay. Nothing that I want, just sending a message from Neptune, he says, smirking. Saying he needs to talk to you about something after school, he declares. Then tell him I'm not going and to leave me alone. Weiss yells at Cardin, making the boys take a step forward, only for Cardin to signal them back. Well, that's the thing. You have to, or he'll come get you, Cardin says before the bell rings. I'll tell him you said hi, though, he says before heading to class. Bells. Ruby asks. I don't know, Ruby. I don't know. Weiss replies she has the class. Time skip to lunch. Weiss, now could you tell me? Ruby asked for the millionth time. We were on our secret place in the library again. Ruby suddenly appears next to me. All right, Ruby, just calm down. I tell her as I see her sit next to me. Okay. You know how my mom left my family for another man? Ruby nods rapidly. Well, it turns out she had a child with him before she left us. I pause before continuing. He is 2 years older than me, and he works as an FBI agent. I finish. First off, how do you know this? And second, what does he have to do with us taking revenge? Ruby asked, confused. That doesn't matter. And for your second question, he's not just an ordinary FBI agent. He owns the whole agency. He's moving in since we share a hatred towards our mother. What? He caught her with another man. Jesus. I swear, does that woman have no dignity? I huff out while Ruby giggles. Wow. Quiet, you! Let me finish. Anyway, he's coming later today, and I'm going to pick him up at the airport. He will be useful to us since he has all personal profiles on him, and we could use that to our advantage. I finish explaining. You done? Ruby asked. Yes, I replied. Okay, now if you excuse me. Ruby starts laughing loudly, but then I cup her mouth shut for no one to hear. But I guess it's already late for that. What's so funny? I question her angrily. Wow, you are hilarious, Ruby says between giggles. Look, even if he had all those files, how are you going forward if you can't even remember your password? She states. I blush. Hey, it's not my fault I'm forgetful, I countered. And besides, I taught you would have. I taught. Obviously, she means I thought you would hack in because you're a demon and all. I don't think that's how it works. I explained. She was about to go for a laughing fit before I cover her mouth again. Only because I'm a demon doesn't mean I can do everything, you know. I just huff. I do know someone who is good with computers. She might help us since she owes me a favor, she says. I'll contact her if you want. That would be great. Wait, does she know you're a demon? I ask, fearing that another person knew about Ruby. No, I just simply helped her with a fire incident last 2 weeks. She says, oh, okay. Wait. I asked angrily at her. I wanted to go for a walk, that's all. She says before standing up. Come on, let's go, the bell's about to ring. She says she helps me up and ran and cue the school bell rings. Ruby then disappears as I make my way to next class. God, this story is annoyingly slow. Time skip again to after school. Oh boy. I was walking out the school's double doors when I heard a familiar voice call out to me. Weiss, wait up, I heard his disgusting voice. I ignored him and kept walking. I then felt his hand about to get my wrist, but I pulled away and turned. Go look at him. What do you want, Neptune? I said, annoyed. He smirked. I just wanted to talk with my girl, that's all. I glared at him. I'm not yours, I say, clenching my teeth. So does this mean we're through? If you had nothing else to say, then goodbye, I say, as I turn around and start walking. But he turns me around and grabs my wrist. Where do you think you're going? He sneers. Let go of me, I threatened, and what if I don't? He says. I tried kicking him in the same area, but he turned me around, making my back touch his chest. Not this time, he whispered in my ear. Before I could kick him backwards, something or someone Something or someone hit his head, making him let go of me and fall unconscious. Leave my master, I mean Weiss, alone, came the voice of none other than RWBY, who had just put her leg down from where Neptune's head used to be. RWBY, I had that under control, I stated while dusting myself. I guess you did, sorry for interfering, she said, almost mumbling, and bowed her head to show respect. Whatever, dolt, let's go late, I say, and start walking. Coming, RWBY said back to her childish self. Oh, what? So it seems we have a little bit of an interesting, like, weird update. Or something, I don't know. But it seems that I was kind of dumb in picking this story because it's like, hey, last updated 4 days ago, which means that, one, it's not over and it was updated sort of recently. Okay, so like I said, I cannot guarantee how finished these stories are. And, I could probably go down to the end of the story and see, if they've actually been labeled as finished or it's been a while since, it's been a while since they've been updated. So I don't know. But if you want me to continue reading fan fictions and possibly, reading this one more if more chapters comes out, I can, possibly make this slightly more interesting or, maybe take a little bit less time to read them. I don't know. Didn't realize that these stories would take so long to read, but whatever. So that was... Oh boy. God, that was White Rose Contact with a Demon or whatever. Yeah. I think that'll be it. Like I said, I do have a ton of things, ones that are slightly less, depressing and violent than that one. So, next time, hopefully something a little bit different.